Son of Sam.
I'm Bill Jorgensen. This is Channel 5's 10 o'clock news.
American soldiers were pulled out of combat.
This is absolutely amazing. The largest party in New York history.
The city of New York is much stronger.
Bringing you our world, our New York.
Good evening, I'm Rosanna Scotto.
I'm Ernie Anastas.
Fox 5 News, celebrating 40 years at 10 p.m.
Good evening, I'm Rosanna Scotto.
I'm Ernie Anastas.
And I'm Nick Gregory.
For 40 years, the news at 10 has brought the outside world inside to millions of homes.
The mission was unique. Create a newscast in prime time like no other.
And as our audience continued to grow, so did our commitment to covering New York and the world.
Tonight, we invite you to help us mark this milestone by remembering the stories we covered and those who covered them.
This is Channel 5.
Son of Sam.
It all began 4 decades ago.
Good evening. I'm Bill Jorgensen, and this is the 10 o'clock news.
The date was March 13th, the year 1967. Channel 5 decided it was time to do something bold, something different. Start a newscast at 10.
Ready, camera one with your opening scene. Stand by, please. Take one, Bill.
There was a service that New York was waiting for, and Metro Media came up with the right answer.
The choice is Channel 5, Metro Media, New York 5.
We were like the little kid on the block, surrounded by these big bullies. So we had to put our heart into it.
Are you saying, Mr. Mayor, that the 500 people laid up here in New York City are primarily a direct result of what's going on in Washington?
It was entirely entertainment at that time. Nobody dared to do a news show at 10 o'clock.
Channel 5 took that gamble.
Ready, camera three with George. You got John. John will be on the phone with you now. Go ahead.
With little budget but big expectations, the newly assembled team went to work.
Because the budget was so tight, we had to launch with black and white film footage, but we did it.
As he stepped out of the car.
We had 3 crews, count them, 3. You know, the other stations had like 7 or 8 crews.
334, this is Sarah.
Also have film reports on the president in China. The city has a close call in Congress and some hot items for Christmas. You'll be here at 10.
And it was unique indeed. The 10 o'clock news quickly became a fixture in New York City with a style of its own.
Maze's next to sports. You stay with us.
The show was a very great sense of gritty New York tabloid sense of the streets.
Get out. Get going.
We all had the same mission, the same goal, was to tell New York stories. And that is what set us apart.
This is what James Peck looked like back in 1961.
An ace team of reporters embraced that mission.
This is Marvin Scott and Patterson with the story of New Jersey's entry into the legal numbers game.
This is Gabe Pressman in Montgomery, Alabama, with an exclusive interview with Governor George Wallace.
They became the faces of Channel 5 and trailblazers in the trenches.
Let me go down and get this guy's name.
We were like the new kids on the block, and it was always a challenge.
From the Ballymurphy section of Belfast, Bob O'Brien, Channel 5 News.
We had great reporters, and reporters who took chances.
Did he try to rob you?
Yeah.
What happened?
3 of them came in there.
Yeah.
Then he pulled his sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
That's all.
A lot of the hard-edge guys were out there. Pablo Guzman. These were all real tough street guys that really brought home the news for us and really were a part of New York and really had the pulse of New York in their reporting.
Something really good to work on. The 10 was always a great news broadcast with some real characters and real New York street people.
Every day at that place that you walked in, you were part of the best, I say this without any hesitation, the best news staff in New York City.
This is a rebel-held military outpost.
The residents of this city, Hebron, were told they would have to stay off the streets.
New York was bursting with stories to be told, and this group of young and eager reporters was aggressive from the very beginning.
They encouraged hard news reporting. They also encouraged getting 3 sides of the story.
There was a famous article in the front cover of New York Magazine that said, "It's not pretty, but it's good."
Mark would like a landline from you as soon as possible, please.
That excitement and passion on the streets began in the newsroom with the forces who made things happen behind the scenes.
You worked hard, you played hard. It was just a very different environment than any place I have ever worked since.
There'd be like fist fights and pushing and shoving over, not about money, not about anything, but about how much time that you had to report a news story.
Well, I think there was a typewriter or two thrown over the years.
Victor, make sure when you're at the board...
Ted Kavanaugh was the news director in the early 70s.
We had a very different news operation.
He paved the way for the in-your-face style of reporting that you see on Channel 5 today.
We're printing something on 6.
We've come a long way since those humble beginnings. A lot has changed since the late 60s, both in the newsroom and on the anchor desk. Our style is the same, but our call letters have changed along with the ownership. But the mission has remained constant.
I'm Lisa Cabrera, Fox 5 News.
Mike Sheehan, Fox 5 News. I'm Andre Hector, Fox 5 News.
The site out here is absolutely mesmerizing.
We have a very long history of seasoned, experienced, knowledgeable reporters who are out there on the streets, working the stories all the time, and they know what questions to ask.
We were the first in this city with the 10 o'clock news, Channel 5. Then the other independents came on with the 10 o'clock news. And so that was the result of the success that we had as the first and the best.
As we sit here at this desk night after night, you make us feel like we're part of your family.
Going back 4 decades, as the face of news changed, so did the faces delivering it.
And tonight, as we celebrate, we look back at the anchors who, through their dedication and hard work, have carried on our long-standing tradition of delivering you the news at 10.
Take one, Bill.
I'm Bill Jorgensen. This is Channel 5's 10 o'clock news.
Bill Jorgensen almost didn't become the first face of the 10 o'clock news.
I got a call from Al Crithen, who was at that time president of Metro Media, and he said, "Oh, kid, you're ready to come with me. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Washington or New York?" And I said, "I think I'd like to go to Washington." He said, "You got to see New York."
Part of him was eager to go at it, and part of him was hesitant because he wasn't sure whether he'd like the big city and couldn't be sure whether the big city would like him. But it took an instant liking to Bill. He was successful from day one.
Jorgensen will lead to that statement, all right?
Jorgensen's conversational style of writing was a first in the television news business.
In terms of writing for news, delivery, there was no one I ever met who was any better.
Well, Bill Jorgensen, you couldn't help but admire him. He, without question, was the best writer in this entire city.
He was like my dad. And my professor, and a very good friend, all at the same time.
The entire city would grow to know and love his signature goodbye.
There's our report. Bill Jorgensen for Channel 5 News. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time.
We wanted to be the best. And so we were inspired. We had this extra inspiration because we knew we were the underdogs.
Bill McCrary was one of the anchors that would share the desk with Jorgensen, the late George Sharman, Rollin Smith, and John Rowland, making the 10 o'clock news even more exciting.
It was a pretty unique team. We sort of gelled.
When the anchorman era came to an end, it was time to share the desk with an anchor woman.
I had a great offer to come back and anchor the news, which I did with John Rowland and Bill McCrary.
You don't forget anchors like Maury Povich.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Maury Povich. When you think of the people at the 10 o'clock news, I mean, you have to talk about Bill McCrary and Bill Jorgensen and John Rowland, of course, and Rosanna, and Corey Ann Mahalik, for that matter, who worked with me.
In 1985, Rupert Murdoch would take over Metro Media and launch the empire known today as News Corp, our parent company here at Fox 5.
We wanted then to grow the news to a point where there was news all day long, into the evening, and it got talked about. And I think we succeeded.
This is the 10 o'clock news with John Rowland and Cora Ann Mahalik.
They hired me for a current affair. I came from WLS, the ABC O&O in Chicago. But being from Jersey, I always wanted to work in New York.
John and Cora Ann spent years anchoring and really set a tone for what the news at 10 would become.
We were renegades. We just ran by the seat of our pants, and we had this passion.
The 10 o'clock news had a heart the size of the city, and we poured ourselves into that program to such an extent that when it was done, we were out of breath ourselves.
If the 60s and 70s belong to Bill Jorgensen and the 80s belong to John Rowland, then the 90s and today belong to Rosanna Scotto.
Good evening, I'm John Rowland.
I'm Rosanna Scotto.
Some of Fox 5 News, I would say, is casual. Even though it has a cutting-edge feel to it, it's not pretentious. It's very real, down-to-earth, gritty, very street New York.
Rosanna Scotto was my TV wife, and she worked very, very hard.
The hard work continued as time moved on. So did the pace of the show. Still aggressive, but now even more news and more urgency to get the story delivered.
The style, when I joined the 10 o'clock news at Fox 5, was completely different from anything I'd ever done. It was fast-paced. When you sit next to Rosanna Scotto, you've got to have energy. The girl is something else. I mean, she's got all this personality, and she is so much New York, and she reflects the energy of the city.
That New York energy continues today with the dynamic team of Rosanna and Ernie.
With Rosanna and Ernie, we have the most recognizable New York news team in the business, and they're true New Yorkers.
So you're asking me, what is it like for me to work with this woman? With Rosanna? It's unbelievable. And let me tell you something. No, this is amazing, because you see what we are like right now? This is the relationship that we have. But you know what? We love each other.
We take our jobs seriously, but when we can, we have a good time,
Exactly.
right?
But when we have a chance to let you know that the world is okay, we try and do that, don't we?
Coming up, we've come a long way since '67.
The technology we had then and the amazing things we have now. We'll be right back.
As we look back on our humble beginnings, it's amazing to see how far we've come.
From black and white to the World Wide Web, the way you see and get the news sure has evolved.
And as technology keeps changing, count on Fox 5 to change with it, because you ain't seen nothing yet.
Take 3. Ready, 1 and Bill. Stop 12. Take 1, Bill. Take on your theme, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Track A, we'll lay along.
Track.
Boy, has technology changed. When we started the 10 o'clock news 40 years ago, we were challenged by what was sometimes very limited resources.
Live trucks were just almost unknown.
It was hectic, sometimes chaotic. I quickly determined, because we didn't have a big staff, and we certainly inherited from John Kluge some pretty broken down equipment.
There used to be 3-man, no women, camera crews with film.
A cameraman, light man, and sound man made up the 3-camera crew. Lugging around a camera of yesteryear was a challenge.
The crews would shoot with these heavy cameras, and after a few years, our crews, walked around, the cameramen walked around like this. These cameras are so heavy.
At the time, local news was still shot on film.
Film had to be processed, and film was very expensive.
It was also very time-consuming. Processing and editing would sometimes take hours.
The dark room was an abandoned bathroom, a very tiny one. There were no facility had been built for that.
Back then, even creating simple graphics wasn't easy.
You had cameras in the dark room, and you took pictures of pictures and turned them into slides.
Thanks to major advances in technology, many things about the news have changed drastically. Today's cameras in the studio are controlled by robotics. Film is history, even tapes. Now our entire news operation is digital. Vinny Russo welcomes the breakthroughs in technology. He got his start at Channel 5, editing on film.
The change has been tremendous. Now it's all instant. I mean, when it was filmed, it was hard because you developing, cut the story.
Our own helicopter, live trucks, and satellites allow us to go live from anywhere in the tri-state area and the world.
I'm Rosanna Scotto, in the shadow of the Vatican.
Channel 5 was the first television station in New York to launch a helicopter with Skyfox HD.
These are live pictures from Skyfox HD. Back over to you.
Since we launched in '67, the way we bring you the forecast has gone from extremely simple...
Now, this is a shot at the radar. Now, a lot of this did not hit the ground.
...to high-tech.
7 at Newark. How about what's going on around the neighborhood? When I first got to Fox 5 over 20 years ago, we had 1 or 2 computers in the office. Now we have an array of computers.
And the weather tools are always evolving.
Soon to come will be our own Doppler radar. Now this is going to be the most powerful and the best Doppler radar system in the city.
Introducing myfoxny.com.
Our most exciting accomplishment in technology has been on the web. Last year we launched myfoxny.com, giving viewers a chance to get involved in our newscast.
We're going to look for all different types of ways to engage the viewer with our website.
The technology that we have today and what we were doing then is such a difference.
This is the Fox 5 News at 10.
Over the years, we've had some unforgettable moments.
Yeah, from confrontations to calls for action to catchphrases.
But you may be surprised at the things viewers remember most.
Bill Jorgensen for Channel 5 News, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time.
Please, do the right thing. Pick up that phone.
I'm Christopher Jones. That's the bottom line.
Bottom line is, when you watch Fox 5 News at 10, there are things you won't see anywhere else. Perhaps our most signature phrase.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Anyone who ever watched News at 10 on Channel 5 will remember it because of that statement.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
One thing that makes the 10 o'clock news so unique, the people.
You're going to see the type of real concern. We broke stories, we chased people down, we banged on doors.
You picking up money right here? Get out of my face! Don't touch him!
Our reporters often put themselves in the line of fire to get the story.
Christopher Jones went to Buenos Aires to report firsthand on the Falkland crisis. He knew there were certain risks involved, but he did not expect what happened to him today.
I was kept down in the back of the car and covered with a blanket, driven around Buenos Aires for about 3 hours, roughed up. They told me they were going to kill me, and then set me on fire.
And they put me through a mock execution. I eventually was thrown out of the car naked on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. It was a very bad experience, but it was world news. But that's the kind of stuff that we did.
On-duty New York police officers called here. Why do you want me to leave you alone? You destroyed this car.
You know, I grew up watching these guys, Bob O'Brien, John Rowland, Chris Jones. It was the 10 o'clock news, but it was news with a real New York attitude. And we today try to carry on that legacy.
Trailing Miami by a half game for 8.
And if you're a sports fan, Fox 5 News at 10 Sports Extra was and still is a staple on our air.
The thing with Sports Extra is we didn't even know that we were ESPN before there ever was an ESPN.
That was a show that everybody watched, especially the makers, you know, the shakers and the bakers in the business.
National League manager to have twice managed 2 teams in the same season.
And in my lifetime.
They called him the Amazin', a nickname Bill Mazer earned early on because of his incredible knowledge of sports trivia questions.
To this day, people say to me, "Did Roland give you the answers?"
Our news at 10 paved the way in sports. And we also became famous for entertainment, thanks to the late Stu Klein.
This is Stuart Klein saying, sweets to the sweet. You may get up now.
Our Tony Senecal has picked up the entertainment torch with her Dinner for Two movie review and Tony's Take. Coming up, a look back at the stories that shaped our lives.
And changed the way we view our world.
Stay with us.
For 40 years, Fox 5 News at 10 made sure that viewers at home had a front row seat to history.
From a man with a dream, A2K, to an attack America never forget.
Here's a look at the biggest newsmakers that touched and transformed our city and our world.
Eagle looking great. On back right. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
1,500 American soldiers were pulled out of combat today.
What did the president know? And when did he know it?
Vice President Bull will be sworn in as president at that hour.
Perhaps the son of Sam, like the notorious 3X and Red Circle murderers who terrorized this city in the 30s, will simply stop killing.
The 1980s began with the shocking murder of one of the Beatles. John Miller, the youngest reporter to ever come through the station, delivered the news.
He fired 3 shots, striking Lennon in the front of the body.
Challenger now heading down range.
In 1986, the nation watched the final flight of the Space Shuttle Challenger.
Obviously a major malfunction.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty.
Princess Diana, I know Roseanne had a very rough time with Princess Diana. I actually was, during the newscast, I was holding her hand because she almost started to cry.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
In 1999, the nation mourned the loss of John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife, and her sister after a deadly plane crash. That following December, the world was bracing for Y2K and the turn of the century.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, God. There's another one.
1 year later, New York City would be under attack, and our world as we knew it would change.
Unbelievable pictures of the act that will shape America now for the next century.
John Rowland and I went down to Ground Zero the day after, and we spent hours upon hours down there talking to the people who live there, talking to the people who had come from other states to volunteer their time to help try to find survivors. It was so emotional.
Thousands of troops are waiting for the word go. They're standing by for orders at the Kuwait-Iraq border.
Outside an apartment here on the Upper East Side, and this is the way it looks here. There's just candlelight, we're sweating, there's no air conditioning at all.
But I will faithfully execute the office of President.
He died at the age of 93. The world would soon lose Pope John Paul II.
And many places along the Gulf Coast resembled ghost towns. Few people were around as Katrina stormed ashore. Tonight, the passing of a president.
Your neighborhood, your country, your world, no matter where the story is, Fox 5 was there for the past 40 years, and we're here to stay. And that's our report for tonight. Thank you for joining us for a look back at 40 spectacular years.
We promise to keep bringing you the best news at prime time.
And we also hope you will continue to join us at 10. And here's to at least another 40 more.
From all of us here at Fox 5, have a great night.
Bill, this piece that I...
Start off tonight with that kind of story they used to invent.
Oh, there you are, Senator.